My oh my, there is nothing like attending a wrestling show live. Let's talk about it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from the Angel of the Winds Arena in Everett, Washington, which is literally 15 miles from my house, as the crow flies and flies and flies, and then accidentally dies on set. Aw, why are they remaking The Crow? I have no goddamn idea. What's your favorite version of The Crow? Let me know in the comments. This show has nothing to do with The Crow. I will retro-review the first Crow. Please don't make me review the sequels. Why would you make me do that? Nevertheless, as far as AEW shows go, I have attended the previous 3 AEW events that took place in Seattle, Washington. Everett, Washington, for those of you that don't know anything about Washington State except for thinking that Seattle is the capital, it's actually Olympia. I know, a bit shocking. Everett is a lot closer, and they had a 10,000-seat arena to host AEW's flagship show, which is coming up on 5 years on TBS and TNT, Turner Network, Warner Bros. Discovery Television. So yeah, after making a side trip to pick up a really good friend of mine, Roxy, who I've attended a lot of wrestling shows with, and she's an awesome friend. One thing you really appreciate is finding a true friend, true friends to attend wrestling shows with. Great jokes, great humor, just a lot of fun. And I will discuss what I thought of the show in just a little bit. But I do want to talk about the fact that AEW, even with some pretty good reactions on this show, and even with some good moments, they're in trouble. They're in a lot of fucking trouble. And I want to fucking explain this. So, 10,000 seat capacity for this particular venue. WrestleTix had updated their whole thing where I think they had like 3,400 tickets distributed, and they were set up for about 4,000 people. If you take the obstructed seats out, okay, they could have maybe put 6,500, 7,000 people, and had enough, like covered to, so the talents could have, had enough space to work and everything and get ready and all that, and that's great. But if they really actually promoted and wanted to jam people in there, they could have done that. The problem is AEW doesn't have any promotional tactics that actually fucking work. Or Tony Khan, thanks guys, doesn't want to put proper people in charge. So yeah, I was at this show live, and I actually was very happy I went to this show. Because even after making a side trip to pick up my friend, I was able to park at a place where I used to go to some indie shows, and I will attend them again at some point when I'm able to get more time on the weekends. I was able to walk just 5 minutes to the goddamn venue as opposed to Seattle, which was a goddamn chore. So, the previous 3 shows took place in the former Key Arena, the Climate Pledge Arena now. Yes, we name our arenas stupid things around here. I do also want to say in regards to Washington State, we don't have a lot of mid-size arenas that necessarily work. There are some outdoor baseball stadiums, minor league baseball stadiums. There's one literally maybe, a couple miles from the Climate Pledge Arena where if the weather worked out, they could pack people in there. Maybe, kind of, but probably not. There's a ShoWare Center in Kent, and then there's a mid-size arena in Wenatchee that's literally in the middle of the mountains, and you would have to run that between May and September. You really could not run anything there and hope for the best weather-wise. The point is there aren't a lot of fucking arenas that they can run here that would work for wrestling. They also want to run Wrestle Dream, again, but this time not at the Climate Pledge Arena. They want to run it in the Tacoma Dome, which, can hold about 3,000 more people than the Climate Pledge Arena. They are struggling. I will explain why they are struggling. Now, first, WWE did actually run this same venue. In July of 2014, late July, early August. It was before SummerSlam 2014. I remember that. It was, I think it was 2014, 2015. The whole point is we, myself and a friend went there, and they had around 5,000 people, something like that. Okay, so not great. When they did Stomping Grounds, where they fisted ass and took names, they ran basically at the Tacoma Dome, got 6,000 people with, some comps, but they ran, I believe, a Raw at that particular venue and had 3,500 people, which is about what they had here. Every company goes through ups and downs all around, come on defense work, and I get it. I get it that struggles are going to happen. The thing is a lot of AEW's problems hinge on the fact that they haven't given fans enough of a reason to want to attend the live television tapings. They are going to be taping Collision, and I assume Rampage, at the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, which holds around 20,000 people. They are set up for maybe 4,000. Maybe. I mean, I don't even actually know if they're going to get that much. And there aren't a lot of mid-sized arenas you can run in fucking Portland either. They might have to start running cities like Medford. I mean, I don't think Pendleton has anything. Whole point is, in this whole glut, there's a lot of issues, logistically with running proper venues to host these. Like, my state isn't exactly set up for a lot of sporting events, big sporting events, unless you want to run, like, I don't know, the Washington State Cougars thing, or you want to run other stuff. The whole point is AEW had promoted this show at least a couple months in advance. And I remember because I actually was, at the time, getting an oil change in the next city south, Everett, and tickets went on sale, and I bought them, and I actually was very, very happy that I was able to get them. I was able to get some primo seats, and I was maybe 50 feet from the goddamn ring. I can see a lot of shit that I'll talk about here. But the first Dynamite at the Climate Pledge Arena, okay, that was the same day as Wrestle Kingdom 2023. They had that thing packed. They had it set up for, I think, around 10,000. They were going to use a lot of the goddamn arena. 9,100 to 9,500. It was somewhere around there. It was as jammed full as it could be. There were a few seats that were empty, probably because some people couldn't go. But the upper deck, everything, it was an incredible atmosphere. It was great shit. I'm not saying everything on the show necessarily worked, but the crowd was into it. Just under 9 months later, for a Collision the day before Wrestle Dream, 4,000 to 4,500 people. There were people who said there were 5,000 people there. Yeah, fuck you. There was not. I was there. The upper deck had really nothing in there. We were able to get some still primo seats. Wrestle Dream, the next day, had 6,000, 6,500 people. And I was very happy to be there. I got to sit next to my best friend Chris, a.k.a. the Durbinator. And that was great. We got to have some fun. We got to cheer our hearts out. I couldn't hear him for 10 minutes because the Adam Copeland had made his debut. The whole point is they haven't run a show here since. So it's been 7 months. And they drew maybe... Yes, there is traffic. Yes, a lot of fans come from Seattle and surrounding cities and stuff like that. And there's a lot of construction in Everett. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are factors that could come in. Some people may have had plans that came up. Other things like that. I get it. The entire upper deck sans a few people that they really should have fucking just moved down into the seats that were empty. Because there were still some empty seats in the lower bowl. Even where there were a lot of fans. They had maybe 3,000 people there. We made the most noise we could. Now, I hope that you guys did have a whole lot of fun, watching on TV. Tell me what chance came through on television. I would really like to know. But the whole point is they are in fucking trouble. They want to run the Tacoma Dome, 21,000 seats, even if they block off, say, 4,000 and just want to try to fill 17,000. They aren't going to be able to even get 10,000. Unless they focus on Bryan Danielson having an extension and getting to have his ultimate full-time retirement or something like that. Some big marquee thing like they did with Sting in Greensboro. I don't know how they're going to do this, and I don't know if they're going to run any more shows in Washington State. They're burning out markets. Fans aren't coming back. They gotta fix this shit. They gotta fix it fast. I don't know if they can. So let's get to the goddamn review now, because... yeah, there's some stuff to talk about. I'll put a time code, by the way, in the description for anybody that just wanted to get to the meat of the matter, even though by this point you are aware of that. So, there were issues that led to all this stuff, but the Arcady, Ara, the backstage interviewer, who is gorgeous, good grief, she is gorgeous, she welcomed us and ring announced the dark matches. So, Dark Order, Silver, Reynolds, and Uno took on Midnight Heat. That's Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl, along with some... I did not catch the other guy's name. Kind of reminded me of Josh Briggs, as far as his look. Decent enough match. Dark Order was pretty over. I honestly always forget they work there. I know they work on Ring of Honor shows, and they won. And that was cool. You know, crowd loved it. Statlander and Stokely came out. Statlander had a child cut a promo. Wait, that was Stokely. I'm sorry, that's insulting to children, because children can grow up. Stokely can't. Stokely pumped up Statlander. She took on Viva Van. And Aubrey got a big reaction because Aubrey is very over. And Aubrey, you know, Washingtonian and everything. One of my favorite wrestling referees. Great at her job. Good stuff. Statlander can work. Viva Van is certainly not bad. Statlander got the victory. It was pretty good. Good way to fire up the crowd. Justin Roberts came down. The commentators showed up. Tony Schiavone continues to be the most over commentator in AEW in Washington State. Big reactions. We appreciate somebody with a long history in professional wrestling. So the heels, Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher, who looks ridiculous with the blonde hair. I'm sorry. Who am I to criticize somebody's hair? Trust me, he looks ridiculous. So Don Callis is on commentary. The Last Supper painting thing is even funnier to see in person. It looks like Kyle Fletcher, has some issues. Maybe Ospreay has a wad of chew. Bruv. So, anyway, no pyro for anybody. No pyro at all. No Okada Bucks. I don't know if they're cutting costs. I don't know if the pyro team fell asleep. I don't know if the Bucks just realized, hey, wait a second. Nothing can upstage us. We have to mess things up in our match, but we'll get to that. So, I'm not going to go blow by blow in these matches. I'm just going to give you the overlay. Moxley comes out to a big pop. They were doing tight camera shots on that crowd. Because, basically, pretty much from about where the entrance way is on this side. Basically, if you're taking a look and you have, like, the left and the right tunnel. So, from here, all the way over, a lot of people. In my section, I was actually, if I had been a couple more rows down, you probably would have been able to see me. I was just out of camera range. But then you get to about where the camera's shooting out to the fans, or, to the ring. And there was nobody over there. There was barely anybody in the front rows, of that side. I think there was maybe like 4 rows of people. It was very, very eerie, because this is less than Collision, and we're coming up on almost a year since Wrestle Dream happened, and they are not drawing enough goddamn people here. And what we did our best to get as loud as possible. But Moxley got jump-started, or the heels jump-started and attacked Moxley. Danielson then came down and they played his music for 2 minutes. Solid 2 minutes. And boom, 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 boom. Danielson was very over. Mox can't really sell for shit, but he was really over. Jeff Cobb was a joy to watch. Met him at a couple indie shows. Very, very nice guy. Still agile, super strong. Fletcher is not bad in the ring, but he's boring. I did like how, eventually the Death Rider, the Spike 1, 2, 3, that got the victory. I got a pretty good pop there. And then suddenly, as the faces are celebrating, because I guess Mox and Danielson are faces, Takeshita attacks. That got some pretty good boos. And I like Takeshita. I think he has great potential. Claudio then comes down carrying the biggest version of Devon Storm that we've ever seen. If you get it, you get it. A crowbar. That's what I mean. And that went quite a while. Now, they tried to pack more into this show, but they also announced on Twitter it was going to be a significant overrun. The overrun went 8 minutes. Fortunately, my DVR is set to record extra, but I wonder how much people end up missing. That being said, decent enough opening match. It was nice for Danielson to get a loud reaction. They loved everything he did. We loved everything he did. Literally everything. Package on Swerve and Christian Cage. And then the Adam Copeland makes his entrance. The House of Black attack him. They bring him to the ring. Malachi then tries to talk. And I didn't realize the shut the fuck up chance actually made it to the house mics. But, oh boy. I bet Warner Bros. Discovery weren't happy. But it's nothing against Malachi. I'm sick of this House of Black stuff. It's not good. It's not good spooky stuff. Spoopy. We weren't having it. We just weren't having it with this shit. It's not even... This is how much the Adam Copeland means. 7 months after debut. 7.5 months. And yeah, they're building this whole thing, I get. They're going to have a barbed wire steel cage match. And, oh boy. But Malachi says, take his wedding ring. Then Kyle O'Reilly, O'Reilly got KO'd. And then the Adam Copeland had chairs on the side of his head. And all three House of Black members did a triple team. They checked on Kyle O'Reilly, but the Adam Copeland was just laying there in the corner. And I'm like, it took forever for the doctors to check on him, the ringside crew, whatever. And I'm like, should we check him? You're not going to move the Adam Copeland like that. You got to poke him with a stick. I don't want to do bad booking today. That's basically what I thought about, and I couldn't unsee it. And I like Copeland, but this... They're trying to make it like, oh, he's going to this dark place. It's this horrible thing. And then Kingston, by the way, was taken out at I believe, the New Japan Resurgence show, because Gabriel Kidd is an idiot, and Kingston, for whatever reason, thinks that he should fall through furniture constantly. So he's out. Okada says the word bitch, and it was hilarious. The Bucks and Jack Perry are not hilarious. So, the Bucks got a Reebok deal, as it were. Good for you. The shoes are ugly and as bad as their wrestling. Renee's with FTR. FTR does a normal promo. Jack Perry joins commentary. I'm going to say right now, if Jack Perry tried to go anywhere near or in the crowd might have torn him apart because they literally hate him. Not hate him like they want him to, get beat up. Like, no, we pretty much hate you because there are fans that feel that he cost this company the biggest star that they had. In large part, he kind of did, because he decided to say, cry me a river, and now the only river is a river of tears that, basically is trying to float AEW to, hopefully, a better TV deal, which I hope they get, because I want more viable options, but god damn it, if they can't continue to draw bigger crowds, or if these crowds continue to die down, they're going to have problems. So, the Bucks took on Daniels and Seidel. Daniels had a theme that apparently was from a band that Kazarian is part of. That's what commentary said. I wondered if it was an Alice in Chains knockoff. The Bucks just have go away heat. There was even somebody that had a sign, right across from us, said go away heat. Somebody also had a sign that said Tulalip, which is, by the way, the subdivision or subset of Marysville that I live in, which is actually pretty goddamn cool. And Justin Roberts couldn't pronounce it correctly. He also couldn't get much near the sign because there were little girls there, and we know how Justin Roberts allegedly is. So, there were fuck the Young Bucks chants. Those made TV. Yay. And it's not, we want you to get beat up. Like, no. Nobody wanted to see them. They couldn't wrestle to begin with, but they meant more about 5 years ago. They meant more even 3 years ago. They don't mean shit now. There are people that like them. That's fine. That number is dwindling. They missed a hot tag, or a blind tag, rather. Good job. And Rick Knox, who's the worst fucking referee in goddamn wrestling, had to call it because he's a blithering goddamn drained frickin' mummy. He's a goddamn atrocity. Maybe he's a nice guy, I don't care. Worst damn referee. So anyway, Daniels got pinned. Like, Daniels is going to get pinned. And Jack Perry then dumped an energy drink on Shivani's head, which got such a negative reaction. It was like, okay, one, it's a woo energy. And also Shivani, again, the most over commentator. He's more over than anybody, even on the WWE roster, as far as anything that, any wrestling event that is taking place. Mainstream wrestling events taking place in Washington. Shivani's just that over. They were pissed at that. They end up saying, we're trying to clean up the locker room from toxicity. And we've been doing this for the last 7 months, and you keep preventing us from doing that. And there were multiple people in the crowd saying, yeah, then leave. Because the Bucks are part of the problem. Because the Bucks can't work. They're only out for themselves. They're not any good in the fucking ring anymore. And you want to talk about toxicity, their views, their political views. That's toxic shit. They're also just bad for wrestling at this point. They are having a negative effect on what's going on this brand, on this program, whatever. Daniels got fired. I think this could lead to him having run as Curry Man. I'm guessing, but Daniels also, he started wrestling the same year the Monday Night Raw debuted. That's 1993, by the way. And Daniels can still move. He's wrestled at the Fire shows. I met him a number of years ago. That was about 5 years ago. He can still move. I imagine that maybe he wants to just leave. Probably just be a backstage assistant or something. Maybe take some time off. Work some indies and come back and be Curry Man and then be it. Whatever. If he wants to go home and just take it easy, the man's more than earned it. But the thing is, they're doing this and people are booing. They're not booing because they hate, what the Bucks are doing. They just hate the fact that the Bucks are there. And I'm just like, they can't talk to save their fucking lives. So, anyway, then Tony Storm, that is, puts Mariah May's head to her chest. I've seen movies start this way. She talks about her ovaries and stuff like that and everything, and I don't really know. Or Serena Deeb's ovaries. It was really weird. She did mention, it's like, you want to attach yourself to this caboose? Well, you're in for a bumpy ride, and I promise that you will end Double or Nothing like every other degenerate in Vegas. Flat on your back with an ass in your face, wondering where the bloody hell your dignity went. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. Malachi then basically is in his spooky room that he seemingly carries with him everywhere and says, hey, by the way, if I beat you, the Adam Copeland, I want you to join the House of Black. And then Hook took on Sebastian Wolf, who got a pretty good reaction when he came out during the break. Because Sebastian Wolf is a local guy, wrestles in Canada. I believe he's primarily from Canada, but he's wrestled in Everett and has wrestled, I believe, in Seattle on the Independents. He's a pretty good talent from what I remember from what I've seen of him. Yeah, Hook won in seconds. Calls out Jericho, who got plenty of please retire chants. He tries to turn this around. Here's the thing. It's not that... I don't really care what Jericho does. Jericho could drop dead tomorrow, and it wouldn't matter to me. Still want him to answer about where his wife was on January 6, 2021, and Big Bill is just standing there like an idiot. Ricky Starks was able to mask the fact that Big Bill will never actually be that good. Shibata then shows up. It was funny that Big Bill didn't really end up doing anything after Hook attacked Jericho for a little bit, and Big Bill's like, shit, my brain just fired up. Oh, I must help. So, yeah, that was about it. Swerve then got a big pop backstage, led to the ring, swerves when he drives, and he swerves when he drives. And he took on Brian Cage of the Mughal Embassy. Yeah, I know it's the Mughal Embassy. I don't care. This went on twice as long as it needed to. I don't care about the association. Brian Cage did a couple neat little moves and then did a bunch of shit that just isn't that impressive. I'm sorry. It's just not. Two Lucha Underground guys colliding. Swerve is very, very over. Swerve got the victory. Good stuff. Still should have been short, and it was. Then he got two chairs. He hit Cage a couple times and then was going to do a concerto. And then Christian Cage and Shayna Wayne, my God, Shayna Wayne showed up. And then suddenly, oh no, Nick Wayne, the prodigy himself, smacked the balls up. And then got on Swerve. Lucha Switch came down. Yeah, I know he's Luchasaurus, but I'm just going to make fun of him. He comes down and then suddenly they produce a picture of Swerve, his daughter, and I assume the mother. I don't know her name. I don't care. It's not important for the purposes of this particular segment. They then smash Nick Wayne smashes the picture over Swerve's head, tying into what Swerve did to Nick Wayne last year. Christian then says, rubs the photo on his face. I took your blood, and now I'm going to, and at Double or Nothing, I'm going to take your championship. I don't have a problem with them trying to do that, but somebody did point out in the comments, and forgive me if I did not catch your name, but I know you comment. Somebody said, so Christian loses the I Quit match, and then comes back and is instantly made the #1 contender. Storyline tying in aside, I totally agree with you. So put that way, I get that this isn't exactly the best thing, but logic is not something AEW does well. They have something now on the TBS YouTube channel, A Meal and a Match. Seriously. So Hook and Shibata are possibly at odds. Shibata used the Google Translate to make some stuff, and Then Joe shows up in a flowery shirt to basically say, you know, if you two would stop being stupid, you could be dominant. And then Shibata does more Google Translate and said, he's too big to wear a floral print. Toni Storm then comes out and takes on Harley Cameron. What was Harley Cameron doing? Her best, and her best isn't good enough. The hair was distracting me. She should be, you know, she is now She Bangs Cameron. And why do I say that? Because she reminds me of that Ricky Martin song. Her bangs are out of control. Her bangs are more out of control than Courtney Cox in Scream 3. That's some out of control bangs, ladies and gentlemen. Toni was over and she won. Harley tried, just like children try to pretend, you know, to rake and do some yard work so they can get a treat. That doesn't mean they're qualified for it, and children can at least learn. And I'm not saying that Harley doesn't try, but some people aren't cut out for stuff, and she ain't. Serena D, by the way, was staying on the stage this whole time. Serena D, remarkable that she can actually continue to wrestle despite being about 86 years old. So then Ospreay is talking backstage. The Undisputed Kingdom are there. Please stop having Roderick Strong cut promos. For the love of God, stop it. Stop it. Please. Ospreay got some bruv chants and was like, you know, you don't respect me, I don't respect you, and I'm going to take your title. That's about what it boils down to. Renee then hosts the Willow and Mercedes contract signing. Mercedes got a few CEO chants, but let me tell you, there was a lot of Jesus. This is who they signed for what reason? That's about it. Good reaction for Willow. Willow was very over. Mercedes was like breaking down the doors and kicking down glass ceilings. At this point, they just need to cut ties. Just Jesus Christ. Their women's division is going to be drugged down because Mercedes does not want to be there. But nevertheless, Tony Khan threw the money at her. I don't blame her for taking it. Willow tried here. She said, I walked away a champion, and you didn't walk at all. You didn't walk away at all. Like, you know, there were a few decent lines. She did fire up about the TBS title a little bit before. Willow did some good stuff. It's just, none of it matters. Not that Willow doesn't matter. Mercedes used to. Mercedes doesn't mean shit. Mercedes could have gone back to WWE. I don't think she would have meant anything. At this point, I don't really know if she means anything good to wrestling. It was great when she showed up in New Japan. Law of Diminishing Returns, it didn't really work out all that much. Even if she hadn't been injured against Willow. If she had carried that title for a little bit, would it have mattered? No. Though I did like the Doctor's bomb through the table. That was a big pop. That was a big reaction. Doctors were really quick to check on Mercedes while the Adam Copeland was still laying there. No, he wasn't still laying there. That would have been hilarious. Then Okada got a big pop, and Dax came out. And you know what? It was a fine main event. It was what it was. Dax lost, because of course Dax is going to lose. Some guy tried jaw-jacking with Okada. That guy could have been knocked out several times. I don't know why security let him get that close to the goddamn guardrail, but then again, maybe Angel... And whatever, I don't care if people get fired up, but Angel to win security apparently wasn't doing a very good job. So, Okada won, and then the joke world order, as I'm calling them, came down. That's, you know, Perry and the Bucks, and then Cash came down, Danielson came down. Oh no, it's all hopeless. And then suddenly Darby's music hits, and I'm like, okay, the production team, and there's Darby. And okay, Darby, after breaking his foot and getting hit by a goddamn bus, takes a skateboard and beats people up and tries to get in a brawl with Jack Perry. Jack Perry doesn't know how to fight. His dad put up more of a goddamn fight than Jack Perry ever would. And, yeah, there you go. Darby gets a big pop. They had an 8-minute overrun, and then we get a rah-rah speech with all of the guys in the ring. And Danielson got the biggest reactions out of all of them. He thanked the fans for the Slammy Awards, Raw, where his dad, that was the last show his dad got to see him at before he passed away. I was at that goddamn show. I didn't realize I was that close to Aubrey when Aubrey was a fan, because I know Aubrey put up a video, or, you know, a shot of her in the crowd and everything, because I was right behind the announcers myself. It was a big goddamn moment. I was at Danielson's retirement on the Raw, February 2016. I think it was February 8th or 9th. And I was even at one of the SmackDowns when he was a GM. And I was at Wrestle Dream. It was great. You know, it was great to see Danielson at this show. I think he's going to be around for Wrestle Dream, though he did say, Wrestle Dream this year, he did say with Darby is going to be the new God of Washington, or Washington State God. Darby is going to see God a lot sooner than he wants to, because not only did he get hit by a bus channeling the blonde bitch, whoever the hell she was from Final Destination. I'm sure she's not a bitch. I'm sure she's a lovely individual, but she was a bitchy character there. You can drop dead. Brr. Yeah, there were typical rah-rah speech, though Cash did take the mic and say not guilty, that whole, what gun charge. He, got a chance if he's not guilty. And look, I like Dax as far as his love of professional wrestling, but the rah-rah stuff gets a little tired. That being said, it was cool, but there were people leaving during the main event. There were people that were like, okay, we're going to beat the traffic. There were pockets of empty seats. By the time the show ended, there were more empty seats. They were probably down to about 2,500 people by the time the show ended. No Rampage, no nothing. So that's fine. And it was good. I mean, we got in, we got out. It was really, really nice. So nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this lengthy review of stuff where I talked about my issues with some stuff with AEW with promotion. I will be going to Wrestle Dream, hopefully. We'll see. It is still fucking Tacoma, so we will see about that. Sorry to anybody that happens to be watching this. If you live in Tacoma, you are lovely people, but that city is a dive. Nevertheless, what did you guys think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.